gonna have fun.
Test.
Echo so bad.
I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, May 3rd meeting of the Danville City Council. Roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Alderman Heidi Wilson, Carolyn Wands,
Present.
James Bouchard,
Present.
Bob Iverson,
Here.
Brenda Brown,
Present.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Mike Ward,
Present.
Rick Streebing,
Here.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Ethan Burt,
Present.
Eve Ludwig,
Present.
Tricia Teague, Robert Williams,
Present.
Darren York,
Here.
12 present.
12 present. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that Alderman Wilson and Alderman Teague are out ill this evening. Thank you for that. At this time, we will have our invocation led by the Dr. Reverend U. Pete Williams, pastor of Greater Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Brown. Please rise.
Shall we pray? Into thy presence, O Lord, we find ourselves again, and we're so grateful you smiled upon us and allowed us to assemble ourselves in this place at this appointed time once again. You were gracious to us. You looked over us, watched over us all night long, brought us safe this far. So, Father, now we ask that as we come together to meet, that you would crown our leaders with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as they lead this great aggregation. All those present, Lord, put a special blessing upon them. We offer them to you now under your grace and your mercy. In Jesus' name we ask it all. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. While you're here, would you like to care to give us an update on anything that's going on at Shiloh?
Still there.
Still there.
Still there. God has been kind to us during this challenging times, these last 2 years. Lost a few members. We've been advocating, get your shot, wear your mask. And so we've been gracious. We pray everybody else would do the same because we're in this battle together. But Shiloh is doing well.
We're glad to hear that. We were also glad to work with you to get some blight removed in your areas. So thank you for working with us on that, Pastor. We
Our
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
Mayor, I just want to say that Williams has a great last name.
I would concur with that. I'll concur. You received just a short while ago the minutes. Unfortunately, as you may have known, our deputy clerk transitioned to, unfortunately in one way, unfortunately in another, our deputy clerk transitioned to another position within the city. So that's left Lisa alone, and she's doing everything she can to stay on top of everything. But as you know, it's business license renewal now, and we have a lot going on. So you do have the minutes, but because you've not had much time to read them, if it's okay, we'll go ahead and approve those at the next meeting. We do have an agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Alderman, please remember to lower your microphone, so make sure we can hear you. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please. Actually, no. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. This evening, I do have a report for you. First of all, I would like to honor Mental Health Awareness Week. Is there a motion to concur with the proclamation?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. At this time, I would like to invite forward Mr. Jim Russell from the Mental Health Board. As I share this proclamation, then we will allow him to share with you some updates on mental health in the community. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas there is a strong research that diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management can help all Americans protect their health and well-being, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas Each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental health awareness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, I, Ricky Williams Jr., Mayor of the City of Danville, do hereby proclaim the May 10th through the 16th, 2022 as Mental Health Awareness Week in the City of Danville. As the mayor of the city of Danville, I also call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Danville to recommit to our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. In witness thereof, I have fixed hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Danville to be affixed this 3rd day of May 2022. And I apologize to you, Mr. Russell. I forgot to have this sealed, so I will get this to you personally. But would you care to give us an update? And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council, for making this happen. There are a lot of different reports that are suggesting that 40% of the American population is dealing with symptoms, not necessarily a diagnosis of, but symptoms of both depression and or anxiety that's related to the pandemic. This still is not over. We're in a better place than we've been for a long, long time. But the COVID pandemic is still a concern for a lot of people. There's a lot of mental health issues that have arisen because of that. We're getting reports across the country that more young people are contemplating suicide than even before. And we've got too many losses to suicide on top of the tragic losses to the pandemic. The Mental Health Board, in cooperation with a lot of different agencies, continues to host youth mental health first aid training on the first Friday of each month, and the adult curriculum for mental health first aid training on the 3rd Friday of each month. That's hosted at the Vermilion County Health Department on South College. And I want to encourage you, if you've already attended, to encourage your constituents to take part in the training. If you haven't attended, then what are you waiting for? So I would thank you again for the proclamation, and thank you for your support of mental health awareness.
Thank you, sir. Any quick questions for Mr. Russell before he goes? He'll be performing with the barbershop chorus this weekend, so he has to get over to practice. So thank you for making time for us this evening. We appreciate you.
Mayor, I'd just like to make one comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Pickering and I have completed it's been a couple of years ago, this course for the, not juvenile, but youth and adult mental health study. And it's very good, and I've had to use it. Sad to say, but I've had to use it from a person called all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, that was attempting suicide and was able to use what I learned in this course to help this person. And so they're doing much better. So I just like to say thank you for offering this to the citizens and to the Danville community.
That makes me feel good. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Any other discussion or comments before we let Mr. Russell? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Appreciate you. At this time, I would also entertain a motion to concur with a day of fasting and prayer. Is there a motion?
Someone,
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. I'd like to go ahead and read that for the public, if I may. Whereas the National Day of Prayer is an annual day of observance designated by the United States Congress when people are asked to turn to God in prayer and meditation. Whereas the president is required by law 36 U.S.C. subsection 119 to sign a proclamation each year encouraging all Americans to pray on this day. And whereas 34 of our presidents have designated days of national prayer and or fasting. And whereas the courts have upheld the right of all levels of government to follow suit. And whereas our citizens now more than ever need to love one another, to treat one another with kindness, respect, and understanding, to look for solutions and resolutions towards the betterment of each of us as individuals, communities, a city, a nation, and a world. And whereas prayer brings people together, builds bridges between opposing persons and even political parties, and reminds us that we are created in God's image, and He desires for us to represent Him everywhere we go. And whereas fasting and prayer has helped pull people through struggles and fears, of every kind and also serves as a wonderful way to express love, gratitude, and concern, whether in private or amongst family and friends. Now I therefore, Ricky Williams Jr., Mayor of the City of Danville, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 as a day of fasting and prayer in the City of Danville. And I urge all citizens to remember our city, our state, our nation, and world in fasting from sunup to sundown, praying for God's wisdom, guidance, blessing, and protection for this great city, our people, and our leaders, and or taking action to address the challenges of our times. I want to say a few words about this. Oftentimes, when people say the phrase, I have friends that are, we roll our eyes and we say, oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? Because often that's a sign that the person doesn't have links to such communities. But I want to say to you with sincerity that a couple of my dearest friends are actually atheists. And they would come here and say that to you publicly. And I respect all persons' rights to believe, and I also respect your right not to believe. And you'll notice the way that I fashioned this, I did not ask for any particular God, because I know there are people of all different kinds of faith in our community, and I want to respect that. I also know that there are people of no faith. That's why we included the option not only just to pray, but to take action instead. If for some reason you are not a person of faith, then you can do other things to help make our community a better place. I also want to emphasize this. You see the hecklers online and they say things like, ha, 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 fat boy is going to take a day off from eating. I'm sure that's going to stop all the crime. You know what? Here's the thing. We are doing everything that we can to improve crime. And as you all saw at our last meeting, thanks to the leadership of our chief and our police department, the efforts of the citizens in this community who are seeing something and saying something, our crime is actually going down, especially our violent crime, substantially. So we've added police officers. When I first started, I believe we had 54. I'll swear in 2 more tomorrow. That means we'll have 67. We are awaiting to get more people into academy, and if we do, we will get up to 70. Once we get to that mark, we will then be starting a vice unit to address further some very violent crimes. In the meantime, we've created a community housing unit that works with all of our large housing complexes, not just public housing, as well as a POP unit. Last year alone, they got over 130 guns off the streets here in the city of Danville. We're very proud of the work that they've done. We've also implemented community cameras in various places throughout the community, as well as license plate reading cameras throughout the community. So I have to tell you, it kind of makes me sick when I hear people saying, oh, fat boy is going to fast and pray, and what else? I'm sure that'll solve things. Well, I'll tell you what, we've done everything that we can possibly do on our side to help get crime under control. But the truth is, there are some things that only God can do. And so we are going to ask for his help on the things in the areas that where we can't do anything, or where we can't make any more of a difference than we already have. So that's my response to those who might have questions or concerns or like to make smart comments about it. It's something that I take very seriously, because the truth is, we can be great stewards, and I believe this council has been, but we always need help, and we also need wisdom. Every day there are challenges that we face that are hard. I've been in this role, acting and mayor, as 3.5 years almost now, and there are things that come up regularly that I've not dealt with before. There are things that, even though we have people who have been on this council for more than 30, or that have been part of our team here for more than 30 years, that they've never faced before, and we need wisdom, and we need to think about we just need help, and I'm going to call on every bit of help that we can to make this the best possible place for everyone to live, work, and play. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that. At this time,
Mayor?
Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I would just like to comment. I would like to commend you on announcing this day, May the 4th, is a day of prayer. We all need that. Everyone around this room needs that. And by doing that, I would like to commend you.
Thank you. I also want to make sure that I invite you out. Some of our partners in the community, some businessmen and women and pastors have put together a day of celebration tomorrow night at Lincoln Park at 6 p.m. We hope to see you all there. If it's raining or there's inclement weather, then we will meet at First Church of the Nazarene there on North Vermilion Street. And as a reminder, tomorrow sun up is at 5:44 and sundown is at 7:49. And also, I would encourage you, if you decide to go out to eat after you finish fasting, make sure that you tip your servers well, because if we have a day of fasting and prayer asking for ourselves to do better, and then we go out and we're rude to our wait staff or we do not take care of them appropriately financially, then we've just kind of spat in everything that we've allegedly done all day. Sorry, that's my soapbox and I'm done. At this time, I would entertain a motion to concur with the reappointment of Lisa Monson to the Police Pension Board with a term to expire 4/24.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. At this time, are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, items of information. Just want to remind everyone that we have another cool First Friday coming up this weekend, starting at 5 o'clock downtown. Sweets in the streets, and all kinds of great things going to be happening. Ashton, would you care to share just a few of the things that are going to be going on?
Absolutely. So the event starts at 5 p.m. in downtown Danville. The event is primarily centered from North Street to Harrison Street on Vermilion. The Fisher Theater is involved. They're showing Willy Wonka. We'll have actors dressed up in costume. There's all sorts of sweet events taking place, including cupcake and beer pairing at Vermilion River Beer Company. There's live music at Fat Man's. There's a bake sale at Temple Plaza. Sweet Adeline's is performing at 6 p.m. A live performance at Temple Plaza. There's a cake auction at the Fisher Theater in their lobby. Just all kinds of stuff to do. You won't be bored. So 5 to 8 p.m. on Friday.
We are also going to have strolling musicians walking around downtown that will be sure to play you a sweet tune as well. So hope that you all will be able to join us.
I think it was clever of Ashton to have a day when we're going to eat a lot after the day of fasting. We're going to need the sugar and the energy.
That's right. That's right. At this time, we will have our petitions, communications, and audience comments. To start this off, we have some members from the Danville Tennis Center who will be giving us a brief presentation on why they've requested assistance and what they do as well. And then we will receive the rest of our audience comments. Lori, are you going to introduce your team?
I am.
Awesome.
Hello again.
We're back.
There you go. I'm Laurie Sommersheim. I'm the president of the Danville Tennis Center. This is Lisa Behrens.
I'm a secretary for the Danville Tennis Center Board.
And Adam Hulse, who is our tennis pro. And we did not plan to dress alike. I'm just telling you that. The same color. So
I keep telling her I think we're sisters from another past. So
yeah.
You don't know that.
So thank you for letting us come tonight. We really appreciate it. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of information about the tennis center regarding the ARPA funds request.
A little bit of history of Danville Tennis Center, 1947. We've been around since then. Well, I personally haven't, but we proposed to operate, the purpose was to operate a tennis facility on the city of Danville public property for benefit of the population of the municipality and the surrounding area, and not for profit basis. 2 indoor courts were built in 1961 and 2 more indoor courts and clubhouse added in 1977. Recent maintenance efforts in 2013, the north roof on the building was replaced at $90,000. 2010, we had energy efficient indoor lighting added for $38K. In 2015, the asphalt resurfacing and fencing for outdoor courts, there are 6 of those. It was $150,000. And in 2011, miscellaneous clubhouse updates to include painting, bleachers,
Carpeting.
Thank you, and a new Danville High School, Danville Tennis Center tarp on the outdoor courts for $19.8K.
We were actually the first facility in Illinois to have indoor. Lou Mervis, Denty Moore, Tom McDonald, Elzer Marks, all people who have a long history in our organization, in our community.
And the Van Dykes used to play there too.
Yeah. Okay, so we're another option for health and wellness in the Danville area. We've hosted sectionals, boys and girls. We are partnering with AMBUCS, boys and girls, and PE teachers from the district to offer some junior high classes. We have clinics and tournaments and lessons, and people from all over come to participate in this. This weekend, we had a youth USTA tournament that brought
We typically run USTA tournaments, try to do once a year. My goal is to bring in 5 or 6 a year. That brings in youth from around the area. We had 17 of our junior members participate, along with 15 others. Bloomington, Watseka, Zionsville, Indiana, Carmel, Indiana. We had 32 juniors all day participating in our club. So it was a fun event, and it was very exciting. So.
We host Eastern Illinois. Some of our members play college there. So we've been hosting that and trying to seek other colleges to come in. And we do receive revenue for that. We're also going to do the first Fridays in July with the sports.
Yep. Sports and
Sports.
brews.
Yep.
Our membership rates range from $75 for pickleball individual membership to $325 annually for gold family tennis and pickleball. Membership funds are used for various things to include funding part-time staff as well as a full-time head teaching pro. We also have a part-time teaching pro. This includes base salary for the head pro and head pro benefits for simple IRA, vision, and dental.
We were actually just recently able to offer.
Right.
Until this point, they've not had those.
Memberships or members and guests who pay a daily fee of $5 can participate in the following: clinics and camps, renting court space, use of ball machines, special events, and much more. Those fees for members and guests also apply to their membership if they sign up. And most of them do. There's been very few that haven't signed up for a membership. So
Right.
we're very happy about that.
We applied that to every membership. And from what we understand from our last lease, that it was actually the city that put a number on it, that there was 6 times that the courts could be used without a membership. So that was, but all those people are not with us anymore.
I don't
They're not
think we've ever adhered
affiliated.
to that either.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't know there was-
we're very welcoming. You can come in and play. We want everyone to play. That's why we're partnering with AMBUCS in this and District 118 and the different organizations, because we want them to use this Danville City Center. It's just better for everybody. So in comparison to the other city-owned facilities, we are actually the most reasonable. Pickleball is the lowest at $75 for 12 months, and then a gold membership, and that's a family, for $325. Our students, if they're affiliated with any type of school team, they get a half price membership with it, which is $40. That Harrison Park $250, that's the junior membership. So we're considerably less than the other city-owned organizations. Garfield Park, they do $90 to $250 as a daycare membership, and then they also have a day fee, which would be similar to what we charge for people to just come in and use the facility. And then Danville Stadium, of course, with the different ticket packs and per games. But the one thing that we are big on is we'll offer scholarships. Coaches can recommend somebody to get a scholarship. Adam has become aware of people who have scholarships. We've given camp scholarships. We've given family memberships. If they want to play and they can't afford it, then we're going to do what we can. And we have a wonderful membership base who, if we put it out there, if we wouldn't happen to have the money, they're going to do something for us. They're going to get those people to play. They're going to give that ability. So, and then we already mentioned that the daily guest passes go towards any kind of future membership. Anyone can play. You don't have to be a member.
So the needs we have as a club, mainly our outdoor courts, which are 6 Terrible courts. The years of patchwork, bandages been put on. They're now in need of major repair, and they have become quite a liability, quite frankly. So that's our biggest project. The south building roof, May 2019 hailstorm and years of wear and tear have caused many leaks. That falls onto the indoor courts. And the leaking water has caused damage. Overall, it's getting worse. Our HVAC unit in the DTC lobby, repairs have been made periodically, limping along last 5 or 6 years, and now they say it's time for a replacement. They can't do anything about it any longer. We would like to have the fresh paint on the exterior. It's never been painted. Mother Nature and her limbs and trees and acorns out there have taken its toll. The paint on the fence would also be an asset to the players. That way they can see the boundaries better of the perimeter. Ventilation on indoor courts, 2 buildings on the north side housing our court 3 and 4. And then the south courts 1 and 2 have all had issues with water collection and disbursement. Periods of intense rain or humidity tends to seep up from the floors on court 3 and 4 in the north building. And we had a couple heating and air conditioning companies come in and tell us that we really need circulation. And we see other tennis centers have these big fans that just constantly move air, not at a rate of speed where, things are blowing and, 90 mile an hour, but just enough to keep the air moving and keep the condensation down.
So these are some photos of our current court conditions. The flap that's being held, it's about 4 or 5 foot flap.
Yeah, it's about a 5-foot flap with, can you guys hear me here? 5-foot flap, about 1 foot high. We had 2 weeks ago, we had a meet that one of our members' sons was actually on the court nearby. If he would have been moving over there was about 40-mile-an-hour wind that gusted and lifted that flap up and was standing upright, and it could have caused, potential hazard. So that's been the years of bandage work that has caused that.
Right. So in the midst of the meet, they had to go and put the flaps down. Can you go to the next picture? Yep. So we have significant cracking. If you can see, we have some pictures to give you later. But that causes just the potential for players to fall, to stumble, to get injured, and we don't want that. And in addition to altering the course of play, I mean, if the ball hits that, then it's going to alter the play.
The next one is our exterior. As you can see, it's got some pretty weathered streaks all the way around. Kind of makes look like a dirty building. Well, wait, it is. So a fresh coat of paint would look great and help us stand out a lot better in this area. And, we have this nice band shelter on the back, butted up to an ugly building. So we're looking to improve that look.
So what the improvements will do for us, this is to us a once in a lifetime opportunity to receive funds to this extent. And it will improve and ensure player safety, number one, because those courts are our number one priority. We'll be able to keep continuing hosting high school things, college, state events, all kinds of different tournaments. And all those tournaments are going to do is bring money into this community. Then we have the opportunity for the local organizations to get involved because we've eliminated the safety issue, the Boys and Girls Clubs, AMBECs, the schools. In addition to drawing players from all over, we actually have a lot of Indiana players that come over. But we have a lot of people who play in Champaign because of some of the things that they offer at their facility. And this would help maybe get some of our players back. In addition to just neatening up that park, I am actually a Lincoln Park girl. I grew up across the street and it's very near and dear to my heart. My mom still lives there at 87. So, keeping that park as clean and nice as we can is really important to this community and to our center. And, course, will bring recognition and business to the area.
Also these improvements are going to keep our high school teams competitive for state tournaments. Our girls went to state last fall. Our boys are competing this spring for tennis, and they'll be hosting IHSA sectional tournament this spring too. So, these courts don't just afford revenue in that regard, but it affords us to have big enough meets where people will stay overnight and be here, the weekend, and it gives back to the high school and the college teams as well. So,
And one thing that is not in our slideshow is that we have hosted the Danville teams for 40 years at no cost. It's because it's so important to us that they are able to play. I mean, our doors are open and we want them to stay that way.
So in closing, our maintenance needs, you can see the cost here. We've gotten several quotes for the resurfacing of the outdoor court, paint buildings and fence, clubhouse, heating and air, scoreboards. You can see all the vendors we've solicited for quotes. There's a few that we have left to fill in, but if you're interested in copies of those, we have those for you. And we are pretty close with the lowest bids, with the exception of the court, because that's the most money there. And we want to go with the, 25-year court resurfacing, so we don't have to keep doing this every 5 years. It's only been since 2015 we redid it. So,
And that was $150,000.
$150,000
7 years ago.
Yep.
So of course the inflation is there.
So we're looking at, was it close to 420,000, I think is what I came up with, just in the lowest quotes, except for the surfacing of the court. So,
And the lighting.
And lighting.
And-
Yeah.
yeah,
And then lighting is significant as well.
lighting.
With the lighting, it takes us actually over 500,000. These are recent quotes, actually. I got on the horn yesterday. I woke up and the first thing was, I'm like, oh my gosh, we need new quotes. And these people rose to the occasion and really gave me up-to-date quotes. So these are all yesterday and today we got quotes. So
I want to thank you all, especially the ones who came to visit the center this morning. I hope you all enjoyed your visit and you were impressed with what you saw. Moving forward in the future, we hope to be even more impressive. And that's why we've been here twice. We'll be here again in another week and a half. So we are in desperate need of some major funding, and we're relying on all of you.
And we ask
to
if
help
you would
us.
like to come. We would love to tour you around. Those of you who did not come, Mr. Poor's come, Mrs. Ludwig, Mrs. Wands, Mr. Pritchard, and Mrs. Pickering. We would love for you to come see us. So many people have never even walked in our doors, and we would love that.
With you.
So,
You wanna
do you-
come out, I'll hit a ball with you.
Thank you, ladies.
All right. Yep.
Couple of questions for you. The one thing I know that a lot of folks were concerned about is they said, well, can the public play there? And that's the big thing. At the pool, you can go in and pay a daily fee. At Harrison Park, you can go out and play a daily fee. It sounds to me as though you said that you're willing to allow folks to come in whenever
We
they want
have.
to.
We
Yeah.
have. I mean, there is a number restriction in our lease currently.
I don't think we've ever adhered to it, at least not since I've been on 4 years.
And I actually checked with the pro who was on when this lease was signed, and I was told that was actually something that the city had wanted, was that number. So we would be open to talk about that. I mean, we're not tied to that. We want people to access this. The other thing is I got on the new website, and we're not listed, the Danville website, and I would love it if we were listed so that they could link to us. Harrison Park's on there, Garfield Pool's on there, but we're not on there. Can we be on there? Please.
Ashton just noted that we'll get you on there.
Thank you.
It's Ashton.
Council, do you all have any questions or comments?
I
for
have
the-
some comments to make. I first was elected to the city council in 2015. This is my first time seeing you here, anyone from the Danville Tennis Club and I see the photos you have of the problems that you have on the courts. And I'm just concerned, how come you haven't been to us before for these?
They've
Well,
been
we
they've been
re-
talking to me about it for about 8 months, a year.
Right.
Carl
They were
and-
resurfaced in 2015. So that's what's happened in 7 years.
Mhm.
And I actually wasn't involved then.
I can speak to that. So we had several quotes 2 or 3 years ago, and then COVID hit. So nobody was doing any work for anybody, and that included us. So we could not get courts resurfaced. 2 years ago, last year, everybody was playing catch up, and every winter these cracks get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we had the mayor out and Carl Carpenter and Steve Lane. These were the issues we needed to address, and we had tried to raise funds on our own, but again, COVID prevented everybody from saying, "Hey, I've got the extra cash flow." So,
And as you can see, this is significant. This
Right.
is
and
this is a lot.
honestly, at the time we had everybody out to the tennis center, I honestly did not know these funds were even available. Not at all.
They
We were
weren't,
just,
yeah.
we were just addressing the needs of the tennis center and hoping to come before the board and express, hey, could we get into the budget somewhere so we can start knocking these things out, so we can continue to do what we do and be of service to the public in areas of, athletes, and, health and wellness. So it's a great question. I would ask the same too.
Sure. And a couple other things I'd like to comment on. The neighborhood associations are trying to, there's still some that are together and they're active. There's some that are inactive. And
Lincoln
just had a
Park is
meeting last
actually
week
very
that
active.
trying to get our neighborhood associations together. And maybe at some time someone from your,
Absolutely.
Well,
My
they-
mom's involved in the neighborhood association at Lincoln Park. So
okay, I mean, because we have different ones, around the community,
Right.
to come to others to offer, because I see where you have some, like you're partnering with, some of the other places. And I was just thinking, like, you could make note of this at some of the neighborhood associations. I'm saying this so some of us that are part of it could ask for them to come and be speakers
sure.
to let us know
Absolutely. Yeah.
what's
Oh, we would
available
love
there.
to. Yeah, we would absolutely.
And also, then that way we see what, you have to offer. Also, I'd like to see, like, in the summer camps, Laura Lee, we have a program there, something be offered to the youth there for the summer,
Absolutely.
maybe some type of summer camp and lessons. Of course, maybe there's some that have never had the opportunity
Exactly.
to go to a tennis court. And then
Right.
this is something that.
That's why we're rolling it out into the middle school, is to give everybody the opportunity to get a racket in their hand,
Sure,
hit a ball.
sure.
That was one of our initiatives, has been until COVID. So
I was
we are just
actually
catching up.
sorry. I was actually hoping that Quaker was going to have the summer breakfast program in the pavilion, because we were going to go try to partner with them and get those kids over.
Sure,
Sure. Because I know how important this center can be for that neighborhood.
Yeah. And I've had a concern because it's always been like so private. I don't see any advertisement, I don't see anything to know to say, someone could see something on back of a program, say
Funded.
whatever,
It's
have
been
a
funded.
banquet somewhere and you see where you've had advertisement for the Danville Tennis Club that you're offering lessons, you like to partner or something like this. I think this would bring attention that you are there.
Absolutely.
And since this is a city supported
Right.
facility, that
Absolutely. It's been
People
funding
know you're
all
there.
along. Like I said, we support our entire staff. That includes part-timers, full-time, and then we do a lot of piecing together, just individually. Friend of mine's a plumber, so we get our plumbing at a discount. So, if we had money for advertising, we could blow it out of the water.
Sure.
But-
And I don't mean large advertising, but
Right,
something
right,
sure.
to let
Yep.
the citizens of Danville know that you're there and you're open to
Yeah.
to everyone. You're
Yeah,
open
the
to
web-
everyone.
And
so,
the website would
Yeah.
the city's website would help with that
yeah,
significantly.
they
I
would.
think.
Some people not always have accessibility to that. I know that for a
Yeah.
fact. I mean, there are just some people that don't have that.
So if
But
anybody wants
so
to
anything
offer
that you
free
can do to,
advertising, let me know. I can come up with some
sure.
free stuff.
And
whatever.
it is
Yeah.
actually unheard of that a city of our size has a facility like this.
sure.
They're in much larger cities.
I understand. And that's why I'm saying we have it here. So let
Yes.
it be known that you're here and make offers to,
Sure.
you
We're open to
people
that.
of all walks of life here. We would like to have everybody in Danville
That's right.
participate in
That's
this.
right.
So thank you.
Yep.
May I ask you a question, ma'am?
Alderman.
Who might I be able to get in contact with? Because I'm the head pro.
Contact with in regards.
Do you have
to
any
what?
specific individuals that you would like to see us reach out to? Because I would love to see if there's a camp I could get set up this summer even.
Okay, you know what you could do? I could get with you and maybe something that says you could send this out to some of the churches in the
Yeah.
city of Danville.
Would
You
love
could
to.
send it to social service agencies. Like you take community action, for instance, there's a lot of people that come to, that's for the
Yep.
low income people. But at the same time, if these offers are there, they know what's there and
Right.
you could, work with, you have, like I said, you have a lot of people that would like to be involved in camps.
For sure.
Maybe someone could work with you to get a camp. So I think
Yeah.
if you get some type of communication out to the different agencies, to the churches.
Yep.
I'm sure that you could.
Well, that'd be great. I
Mhm.
think let's touch base, and I would love to, if there's individuals you have specifically, we'll reach out.
Yes.
So
Okay,
thank you.
Sure.
Ladies, if you'll send me his contact information, I'll be sure that you get that, Alderman Brown. I'll also give
Okay.
it to, give that information to our community relations administrator so that we can get you connected with neighborhood associations and such too.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
I
I'm
have,
all-
I have
uh,
court pictures. Oh, go ahead.
I just had a question about the resurfacing done in 2015. Your intention is to do something different,
Yes.
and so it would be more permanent rather than
Right.
something that would
Yes, 'cause-
deteriorate within 7 years. like
I'm
what
not-
we're seeing this time.
Jeff, do you know, were you involved with that?
Well-
It was patching, right? It was patching
Back
at that
then.
time for $150,000. Right, right.
Yeah. So they, I know that the company who did it, never came back and addressed any of the warranty issues. They were, not located, for whatever reason, they're gone. So we've kind of been doing it, looking online to see what kind of things we can put in the cracks to seal them up a little bit. And some things work, some things don't. And so we're at this stage now where we're just like, well, what do? We keep doing this every, year after winter, get the courts ready for play. Our best option, we were told, was to remove the courts and lay new courts down, resurfacing. That's the guarantee for 25 years. So the company, I think that gave us the quote, is that the same company that did U of I or Atkins? I can't
I
remember.
know that they're doing Rantoul.
Rantoul.
I know that they are doing the Rantoul
The Rantoul
facility.
project.
Mhm.
So, it's sad that it's come to this and all the money that has gone to it wasn't anything longer than 5 to 7 years. So,
But the crack filling that are significantly cheaper, there's no warranty and they're going to crack in a year, basically, with the weather and the expanding and shrinking concrete.
So which of these projects do you intend to do first? What are the most important?
The outdoor
projects?
Outdoor
courts.
Outdoor courts.
As soon as the
And
boy
what would be the
season's over.
second one? Because that's only 328,000. You're asking for 500. What would be
Right.
your?
the second,
Painting the building.
the clubhouse air conditioning
And painting.
painting.
Mhm.
The lighting as well. Again, the lighting, and I think we've got somebody speaking here in a little while about the lighting. What outdoor lighting will bring to our facility is longer match play leading into Friday night starts for our bigger events, and that leads to hotels and restaurant revenue. And you can go all day Saturday into Saturday evening and on through Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. And again, this is all revenue for the city. Our entry fees are nominal. Again, it just covers the cost of, the facility, bananas, grapes, whatever.
Use.
So, but what it does for the community itself is brings the bigger events.
Right.
And once we get on the map, people are going to know where we're at. So that's going to help with the advertising that, we have not been able to do much of. So good questions. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Watts.
I had the privilege of touring the facility, and you do have great needs. I do realize that, but I do want to say something positive that I found. You have the cleanest, best smelling locker rooms and entrance area that I have ever
that's
seen. And
awesome.
I've been in having boys and girls in sports, raising them. I saw some pretty smelly, crummy ones.
Oh, yes.
So, and they are beautiful. I mean, they're beautiful. They are.
Our
And
staff does a great job.
They
of
do.
They
maintaining.
really do.
they
It's-
really
I think
do.
it's every hour they go around and check everything.
at
clean.
least.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep.
But one thing you don't have on that list that I had never been there, walked up to the door. It was locked, which was okay at that particular time. And this young gentleman came to heard it, evidently. I didn't knock. He came to the door. We might need to look at a door or a window that,
Mhm.
because
make it
it's
more
kind
welcoming.
of intimidating
Yeah.
when you come to the front
Right.
door.
Oh, we
And-
have cameras. We knew when you pulled in the parking
Oh,
lot.
but I didn't know you knew.
I know. You brought up a good point, though. It is true. Yes.
And I think that the door with the code was put on for safety for the
Mhm.
desk staff
Mhm.
when they're in there by themselves,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that's so much of a problem because a lot of people have those even in their homes.
Mhm.
It's just that it's just solid. I
It
mean,
is.
it's just
So we should add a
yes.
window.
iron door, that's just, you kind of, oh, okay, am I
No,
at the
you're
right place?
You're right.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you're
Yep.
correct about that.
But your locker rooms are fantastic.
Thank you, Alderman Watts.
Thanks.
Alderman Pashard?
Yeah, I toured that also. I was pretty impressed with the overall building and the condition of it, except actually for the leaks in the roof.
Right.
But is that something that's being looked at by proper authorities, that can that be patched? Or are you going to have to replace it?
We're going to have to replace the vents along the top.
Yeah,
It's the vents that have never been replaced that are leaking.
That's what we think.
And well, that's what Century told
Yeah.
us. Century Roofing came out
Oh.
and did the assessment, and the leaks are coming in through the vent, and it rolls down the beams and then drops
Onto the court.
Onto the court. So they said by replacing the vents and sealing them up, with new vents, that should eliminate the problem. I know it was an insurance claim, I think, after the hail damage. That is still out there, but Century did come out and do an assessment.
Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. I too was able to tour the facility on Saturday. I lived in that area for over 50 years, and that was the first time I'd ever been in that facility because I thought it was a private club, which is what most of the people in the community think. But having
You
said
learned
that,
it's not.
yeah. I am very concerned with some of the drainage around those exterior courts. A lot of that could be parts of the reasons for heaving and cracking and things. I noticed you did have a drain tile running along the east fence when we
that-
went in that gate.
Oh, that's
that
just
drain-
to keep it from balls from going under the fence, because the fence doesn't.
Oh,
go
it
under
is.
the
So that
ground.
has nothing to do with drainage.
No.
I
You're
thought
talking
they were
about the
pumping
No,
water down
the
onto
pipe-
No, it goes all the way around. It keeps the balls from going
That's-
under the fence.
That's how much I know about
That
tennis.
fence isn't, that fence isn't staked down all the way.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it, you're not be able to patch that. You can't
Oh,
patch
no.
that court. My gosh, some of those cracks are so deep and that subsurface is probably pretty bad. I know it's a lot of money. You see by your list, I mean, I could see well over $1.5 million. You need another entrance. I mean, some people can't find the entrance to get back there. And it's a very small parking lot. And if it indeed is going to be open to the public, that's something that needs to be addressed in the future too. Probably some lighting. I mean, I know we talked about the lighting, and if it's going to be both sides of the court, you've got residents that are going to have to be accommodated with the lights at night being on. Did you have a price on that lighting?
No.
No.
That's actually interior lighting, those prices.
Well,
I
you were talking
believe.
about the exterior.
The
being
We were
lighted up.
talking about
yeah.
exterior as well.
Those are Ameren grants or rebates, I should say, that are available for those. Because once you put in the energy efficient lighting, Ameren gives you the rebates for those after it's done.
And that's what percentage of, what are your numbers that actually utilize the tennis court, the $5 a day thing? Do you have any idea?
On a monthly basis, there's probably anywhere from 6 to 8 different guest fees that are paid through. Typically, it tends to be, they might play 2 or 3 times. They're just testing the facility out and then come to find out, hey, they really enjoy it. We've got, over the last 2 years, I feel like we've gained roughly 30 or 40 new members just by virtue of offering a tennis 101 clinic, just waiving guest fees the first time they come out, just through small little Facebook advertising, and then or members bringing another guest in just to kind of, hey, this is the sport I love. You want to come check it out. And you do not have to be with a member to come play. And so typically, most often, people play once or twice and they're like, I really like this place. It's something I enjoy. It gives me exercise without feeling like I'm getting exercise. It's a social aspect of it. So, I would say 6 to 8.
Do you remember that corporate program they did for all of the Harrison Park, Danville, Illini Skateland and all that? We actually were part of that. And we put flyers out to the big corporations saying, hey, this is for you guys, get your family involved. And we held a couple nights where we opened up just for the community to come to experience, before they decided which memberships they wanted to get involved in. Of course, golf being the top. But, there was probably 20 to 25 people who attended, not the numbers we'd hope to see because, let's face it, Krupp, Quaker, all the big manufacturing, they've got lots of people. Golf beat us every time. But anyway, so yeah, there were opportunities to bring other people in. It's just, I feel like maybe we just haven't been heard. We're not screaming loud enough.
What are your current membership numbers that people actually have membership?
We have 197 active memberships with a 325 active members. So part of those being families, couples, parent, child, et cetera.
I get the 325 members, and then you're saying 6 to 8 pay the $5. So so $500,000.
They've turned into members.
But I'm just saying $500,000 basically going to 325 people that you really utilize it.
Doesn't include like EIU, girls tennis, or
boys team, the
boys
girls
teams,
team,
girls
yep,
teams, that
the
doesn't include any of
sectionals.
those.
So
I come in off the street and I want to play tennis. I can't just do that.
you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
But if you have all the tournaments going on, different things, there's
Courts
probably only-
indoors.
We have indoor and
Yeah.
outdoor.
Outdoor courts. You can.
We
Courts available.
rarely have 10 courts utilized
Okay.
at one time.
Okay, thank you.
And we hope too that with these monies, we will be able to expand that to far more than 320 members.
Thanks, Chairman. Alderman Ludwig.
What would your partnership look like with District 118, with the students and Boys and Girls Club? What would that look like? What is your hope to see for this
We're
community?
hoping to do some camps with them. With 118 going into the PE classes at Northridge, we were doing 7th and 8th grade. That was one to go in. One of the board members or previous board members is a PE teacher. And so she was going to help facilitate that with us. With Ambux, they run 2 different camps, different age levels. And so we would do like a week-long camp with them. Boys and Girls Club, we're trying to do something with this summer with them. So it'd be similar type programming for them.
So would you be bringing somebody on to the District 118 property, or would they be coming to you?
District 118,
Adam
would go.
Adam would go.
myself,
Here.
and then if needed, hopefully my assistant pro, if we needed the extra body to come make sure the kids are properly taken care of. I want to make sure that they get the best experience possible.
I
while
think
we're there.
Shalarman was considering just bringing a bus to the center for their students, and then because they have buses to utilize or whatever, and their PE classes are way smaller, so I think Shalarman was going to utilize a bus to bring down to the center. So yep. We had also one time thought about for summer camps, because sometimes transportation is difficult for kids to get to summer camps. So we at one time had thought about, what if District 118 could provide a bus service for kids, have a central location that they're taken to, and then maybe bust into the tennis center for their camps. Our camps start in the morning and end in the afternoon, bring lunch, that kind of thing. So I know at one time we talked about that, as well as being an after school type. That was the previous pro. But nothing really ever took off from there, but there's been ideas.
Ladies, thank you.
No, that's okay.
Years ago, when I was on the board and running the junior program, we also sent the pros out to the school. And brackets were donated, I think, by the city or something years ago. I'm talking 20 probably years ago. But anyway, we went out to the schools with the rackets and we treated kids in their evening class that way. It's almost that way, you can give it to everybody. And make it a class, but that would be coordinated to teachers in the district. But it's something that could be done. It's something that could be done at the Boys and Girls Club as well.
Oh, yes.
Yep, they have a gym, so.
Good idea.
Alderman Pickering.
I just have one thing to say. I visited today, and as well as you take care of that, this makes me feel better about giving you money towards it because you do take care of it. It was well taken care of.
Thank you. We work hard.
And we realize this is significant amount of money. I mean, like I said, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity for us. But if we don't do something soon, they're going to not be able to be used.
Yeah.
Those outdoor courts. Because we're not going to be able to risk our players being injured and hurt, and we can't do that.
Ladies, thank you so much for
Yep.
being with us
Thank
this
you
evening.
all
We
for your
appreciate
attention.
you.
Thank you.
Time.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, at this time, we'll receive the rest of our audience comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Has everyone had a chance to complete a yellow audience comment card who wishes to speak this evening? If you want to call your name, please come to the podium. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak. First, I have James and Rhonda Brunel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Regarding parking campers in the driveway.
Thank you. You did pretty good on our name. Most people don't do that.
Okay, good.
It's pronounced Bruno.
Okay, thank you.
It's a German name.
Mr.
Could you-
Bruno, could you please turn the mic towards you, sir? Thank you. That way we can, thank you.
Now you might hear me. That's
Yes,
not
sir.
good. What we'd like to do is thank you, first of all, for being able to give us a 30-day variance to allow us to park our camper in the driveway as we choose, so many days at a time, or 30 altogether, but 30 in a year's time. We don't park our camper there in the wintertime. We remove it, but we would like to ask if it would be possible to get a variance or whatever could be done with your ordinance to allow us to possibly park our camper in our driveway from, like, say, April through maybe September or October. We mainly just take our camper to Kickapoo for the most part. We do most of our camping right here. And it's just real inconvenient if we can't leave it there, because otherwise we have to take it somewhere else altogether and go back and forth. And it's a real problem. But that's mainly what we wanted to ask, is just to see if something could be done. Go ahead.
First of all, we're not talking a 30-foot camper. We're talking 18-foot with a 2-foot hitch, total 20-foot. Our driveway is approximately twice that. So it's sitting up by our garage. It's not blocking our neighbor's vision as they back out, or anybody, if there's anybody coming, it's not blocking that. It's not ugly. It's only about 4 years old. We weren't aware when we bought this camper that there was an ordinance like this. And I've looked online and I still can't find it. What I did find is the handicapped parking thing, and I wish that would be enforced personally, because I can't find one most of the time. That's a whole nother story. I'd like to talk to Chad about that sometime.
The other thing I was just going to mention is, according to your ordinance, you either have to park on a side yard or in the back of your house. And our two side yards, house on each side,
there's not enough room. You can't get there from here. You can't fit anything through there. And we don't have an alley. Actually, everybody's yards on the street behind us would be Dawn. And everybody that lives there, and we live on North Cedarwood, they're just right up against each other. So there's no way we can possibly park in a side yard or a backyard. So we have no choice, but to either have to move it as requested in the ordinance or get a variance to be able to park in our drive.
Well, thank you for coming to speak to us, Mr. and Mrs. Reno. I have to tell you, unfortunately, we've gone through this at length. We did propose allowing parking in driveways, and it was not supported by the council. So we probably spent a couple of months working through that, and unfortunately, there wasn't enough support to get it passed at that time. So I do apologize. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Carol Stamper regarding camping parking.
Yes, I have the same issue. I'm right down the street from them. And the way Danville is built and set up, there's no room for access to side yards or backyards. And I just wanted to question this one because I did find this ordinance from 20 to 30 years ago, and I cannot find an updated one.
All right. I'll have to take a look at this and get back with you, Mrs. Sanford.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Kamini Persad regarding the Danville Tennis Club.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Carmini Prasad. I'm a physical therapist here in Danville, Illinois. Anybody who knows me know that I'm big on exercise. The CDC says we should get 150 minutes of exercise every week, and I don't know how many of us actually do. So my kids have been involved in tennis from when they were really young, and we picked tennis because there was the lowest amount of injuries. And we got lucky because during COVID, it was one of the few sports that they could still play. My husband and I turned 50, and we realized that we didn't get enough exercise, and we both hate the gym. So we had to find something that we enjoy doing and that we could get out as a family and participate in. And tennis worked great for us. It's been a year. I've been playing. I've met a whole bunch of new people. We go out and enjoy it as a family event, and we can spend quality time with our kids. I'm still not good at it. I'm getting there. My husband has done remarkably well and can now hit with my daughter who plays competitive tennis. I'm still working in progress, but I'll get there. But it's a fun thing to do, and it's kind of sad that a lot of Danville people don't know this facility exists and what great events that it has to offer. Pickleball, tennis. I mean, this is fun stuff. This is exercise and having fun doing it. I mean, exercise nobody enjoys it, but we have to. It's what's going to keep us going when we get older. It's what's going to prevent us from getting all the illnesses and whatever they say that it's going to be out there for us. So I'd like to see us celebrate this facility, enjoy it. When I go to other places with my kids, I'm always told how lucky we are to have this brilliant place that my kids can play tennis all year. A lot of places don't. So I'd like to see us take care of it and make sure it's there for the future generations, as well as for the community, because I think we can all benefit from having it. We all build things for the kids. They get play areas, they get basketball courts, they get everything. And I think for adults, all we have is the gym and golf. There's not much for us. So I'd like to see some money spent here, because I think tennis is a great activity for any age. So I'd like to see some work put into the center so we can make it available to use for everybody. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Purcell.
Martha Foster regarding the Danville Tennis Center.
Well, she's coming up. This is the young lady that I mentioned to you all last time.
Thank you all. As you all know, I'm 73 years old and I've been playing at the Danville Tennis Club since 1960. I started through the Danville Parks Department, where they had teachers in the summer that they paid to give lessons at Lincoln Park. The family paid 25 cents a month for us to be able to use the outdoor courts. That was all that was there at the Lincoln Park at that time. Okay. You might have guessed, ever since then, I've been playing tennis. I'm a lifetime member there. The joy and the friendship that tennis brings to me is beyond anything that I could ever express to you. My dad and I played together for years. He was 80 years old when he quit because he had to have his hip replaced. He played with Bill Dumas, and Bill was playing with my dad for years until he had to have his knees replaced. Now, these are Bill's words, not my words. He said he knows a lot of you on the council members, and he will be talking to each and every one of you this week. You know how old folks are. We are stubborn. I know that other people have made you aware of the crack situation on the tennis courts. It is definitely an issue, especially it's an issue for someone in my age category. Because let me tell you, if I hit one of those cracks, I don't bounce up so well as I did when I was 13. I kind of struggle to pick myself up and say, don't worry about it. But you know what? It's a worry. Okay. I love the park. I love the tennis center. I was raised at 1113 Chandler all my life until my father sold our house and we moved to Oak Street, but we still went to Lincoln Park. It was a family activity. I missed all the fun things that we used to do at the pavilion, as they used to call it. Great gathering. We didn't care if you were black, white, or purple. We all got together and had big parties. I hope that with these funds, the tennis center can continue on and I can play till I'm 100. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Foster.
Brodlin Barons regarding the Danville Tennis Center.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn Barons. I play for the girls team at Danville at Danville High School. And I'd just like to say a few words about what the tennis center has meant to me throughout my life. The girls on the tennis team, I feel like I've known them my whole life. We've literally played together since we were like 4, and we have so many good memories out on that court together, winning sectionals, winning a lot of big matches against rivals. And I feel like I've formed lifelong friendships with them, and I'll cherish those memories that we have together. I've had a lot of memories with my family, my mother, my father, my grandparents. They've seen me play, and it's just a huge part of who I am, just as the tennis center is. It plays a role in all of our lives. I think it's a place where people can get together and they can socialize and they can form bonds just as I have. I think it's great. That's all I can really say about it. And just having the funds to redo it and to make it look like how it was when I was 5 years old and I came there for the first time, it would be a huge deal because it gives little children the opportunity to play and make the same memories that I have. When I look at them playing in championships, tournaments that I have, and I hope that they can play for the high school team, I hope that they can have the same experiences that I have. Again, it's just a huge deal and it would be phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barons.
Yeah.
Reverend Frank McCullough regarding the Three Kings of Peace Mentoring Center.
Thank you, Ms. Monson. I don't play tennis, but I think we ought to support them. Write them a check. Anything that you can do for our young people here in our community, I think it's a plus. On a positive note here, I do want to say that I want to thank the mayor for the purchase of 424th North Washington Street for $99. So I really appreciate that. Now, on the next thing, I do want to say that I represent the Three Kings of Peace, one of us, and we see that the mayor has laid out a proposal to the city and what he's going to do with our funds, and I'm not in agreement with it. And I'm mainly not in agreement with it because I don't see allocations of funds for the Three Kings of Peace. So I'm asking you all to keep us in mind. I'm asking the full council to keep us in mind. I was here on one council meeting when one of the council meeting, Mr. Strimming said that we need to find $800 for another fire truck. So I'm asking you to at least find something for the mentoring center here in the city of Danville, which I know that will be an impact on our community when it comes to crime and when it comes to steering our kids straight and keeping them from the penitentiary. I don't think how many police officers you may get. You can get up to 100 police officers, but if you don't change the mentality and the mind of our young people, we're going to still have the same problem. We're going to still have shooting. We're going to have all this gang activity going, but we got to change the mind of our young people here in our city. So just keep us in mind when you make your decision where you want to allocate those funds. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Pastor McCall.
Tim Carter would like to speak on an ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. City Council, thanks for the opportunity to come. Jim Pichard is my alderman, and when we returned from vacation, I had a letter in the mail concerning the same thing that Renault's are talking about with the campers. And I have written a letter to the council, and I believe that's been distributed to each and every member. I'm not going to reiterate that. You can read that at your own leisure. And I understand from previous comments that you've addressed this situation long-term. The thing that concerns me is many years ago, I was told I couldn't park a camper or a vehicle next to my property. And that was John Parrish, who was a city inspector. And at that time, I had put on an addition to the house and poured a nice wide concrete driveway. It's big enough to park 6 vehicles on when the camper's not there. And as they had mentioned, my camper is only there 4 or 5 months out of the year, at which time it's really convenient. You know, after all these years, we finally got to the point where we don't have to sleep in a tent anymore. You understand that, don't you? And so it's nice to have that availability just when we decide we want to go, just to back up, hook up to it, unplug it from the house and take off. And I understand there has to be ordinances about the way things look. I've spoken to several of my neighbors, and none of them have addressed any concerns about that. One wasn't even aware that it was there, even though it's been sitting there. In the last couple of weeks, I have spent time driving around the city and just looking at properties and community and so forth. And I see a lot of things in our community that I feel are a much more degrading look for our city than a camper. It's not an old piece of junk. It's sitting on our property. And I'd appreciate it if that was looked at, not from a blanket aspect, but from an individual standpoint. I feel that there should be allowances for certain things. Obviously, if it was an eyesore or I found some that looked like people are living in them, you know, obviously that's not a good thing. But so anyway, I want to appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Kathy Haupt regarding the Danville Tennis Center.
Hello, I'm not real exciting like Martha was, but I'm just coming up as I've been a member of the tennis center for 40 years in different aspects. Right now, I am the tennis coach for Danville High School. I've run junior programs, but I actually grew up there. So it means a ton to me because I see, like the three kings of peace gentlemen told us, anything that we can do for youth, I think we have to in this community. I am so thankful that he goes out to the schools. I'm a teacher in District 118. My husband was a boys tennis coach for 17 years at DHS, and this is my 3rd year at DHS. And I think the more active we can get kids and adults alike, but really our kids right now, the more active we can get them, the better. Off the streets, anything we can do. I've been a member there forever. These courts are important to the outside. Lincoln Park is beautiful. It's one of my favorite places to walk around and things like that. So to have the courts redone would be very important. We did host a huge tournament last year. Our athletic director, Mark Bases, did an awesome job, got complimented by I think it was 12 to 15 schools that were there. It's a big deal to bring all these schools into our town to show that we can do something big. Our team won the sectional, and we're hoping to do the same next year, but I'm not sure on those courts being the way they are, if we're going to be able to. You don't want to have that liability. So I just think the Danville Tennis Center, from the time I was small and now I'm an adult, so I see it as a totally different thing, but I think it has changed people's lives. Whether you're a tennis player or not, my parents knew that they could send me down there and that I would have something to do. I just think it's a really important part of our town. I think anything that we can do to improve the look, the feel of Danville is a very important thing. So I appreciate your time. I'm not great at this speaking thing, but just wanted to let you know we appreciate you even looking into it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Houck.
Doug Arns regarding the ARPA funding.
Thank you all, and thank you for your service. I wanted to follow up regarding the ARPA funding. As I indicated previously, I really felt and still feel strongly that should go towards things that could decrease the future operational costs of city government. And while there's a lot of good things on that list that I've seen, it does not accomplish that goal. And in fact, the Garfield pool operation is likely to significantly increase the operational cost on an annual basis. And so one of my first questions was either for the Public Works Director or whomever is, has there been a financial plan put together to operate this facility after it's built? And why has that not been presented to the public? And has it been presented to you? I don't understand how a council can vote on a $10 million improvement without having all the facts. The current pool, prior to its closure, lost between $50,000 and $75,000 a year, if you included all the actual costs. The labor for the manager for that position was not included in the pool budget. It was in the rec budget. Some of the shifty budgeting that goes on. However, this pool facility, as you're describing it, is adding positions that will create the need for additional lifeguards. And we couldn't find lifeguards when that pool was open. So now you're going to need more of them in a climate where people can't find people to fill jobs. The minimum wage will have increased from $8. I think we paid lifeguards in the $8 to $9 range. You're going to be paying them $15. So what does the actual financial picture look like in this pool facility that's being proposed? And I would certainly suggest that no one should vote on something where you don't know what the ongoing costs are going to be from this point forward. I certainly support water recreation for the youth in the community. I was one. Nobody spent more time in the Garfield Park pool than myself. Great facility at the time, built there because it was the housing authority that built it. And I think, as has been indicated in the last meeting that I listened to, as well as this meeting, a lot of dynamics have changed since this was first discussed. And it was first discussed, people like myself thought, well, $3 million, maybe it's the right way to go. Personally, I feel a different location is better. And that is because we want this to be an attraction. And buying up all the property around this that will then turn it into what, based on what I understood from the last meeting, will be probably somewhere between a $13 and $14 million project, largest project ever put into a park in the city of Danville. And it's being suggested that 3 public meetings held in Ward 1 are sufficient for public engagement. I challenge that. And if that is the standard that is met for a $10 million expenditure in a park, you need to raise the standards. We used to engage with the public. Mrs. Finch over there used to strongly encourage on a regular basis. We went out into the neighborhoods. We didn't say you have to come to City Hall and talk to us. You get 3 minutes and there you go. So can I talk or am I done? Do we want public input or are we going to keep it stifled to 3 minutes?
I'm sorry, your time is concluded.
Time's up. There you go. $10 million. You don't have all the information. The public certainly doesn't have all the information. How could anyone form an opinion?
There are multiple There were multiple opportunities for people to come and speak to the community, to the council. Our door is always open. We've received exactly 1 email from the ARPA against the pool. We've received a number of emails and a number of phone calls in favor of the pool. I understand that people have differing philosophies, but and everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I would suspect if folks wish to run the city, then they should run for positions where they can do so.
Wendy Brown regarding the Danville Tennis Center.
Hi, I'm actually only here for backup because my son, Jaden Brown, who's right actually on the screen behind you, had to compete in Champaign today for a tennis tournament. And so he filmed something to present his comments to you.
Hello, my name is Jaden Brown and I am a senior at Danville High School. I wish I could be there to personally deliver this message, but I'm currently at a tennis match in Champaign. But I'm happy that I can still provide my testimonial for the Danville Tennis Center because this is a community center that has had a great part of me for most of my life. The tennis center has been a place I go when my anxiety disorder starts acting up or if I just want to have a fun time. The tennis center is such a welcoming community that every time I walk through those doors, I feel like respected and welcomed by all other players and the staff. This place is like a second home for me. Apart from being with my family, I've never felt more loved or cared for in another place. I've been asked by many throughout the years if I play football or basketball, and I'm assuming that people often look at my size or the color of my skin and just automatically assume that I play football or basketball. But I don't. I play tennis. I've played tennis at the Danville Tennis Center since I was 6 years old, and there are many things I love about this sport. But one thing I find remarkable is that when I play tennis or when I compete in tournaments across the country, I compete against people of all races, ethnicities, genders, age, mental abilities, or physical statures. I've played against people that are Caucasian, Hispanic, African American, Asian, and all shades in between. I've played tennis with my 4-year-old nephews and my 70-year-old grandmother. I've played against strong athletic built players. I've played against my cousin who has high functioning autism. And I've played against self-described gaming nerds that have sometimes crushed my hopes and dreams of being a professional tennis player. But my point is that tennis is a sport that anyone and everyone, no matter your background, can play and excel at. The tennis pros at the Danville Tennis Center have taught me many useful life skills. They've taught me how to be patient and wait for my perfect shot. They taught me how to play against my opponent with strength yet respect and dignity. They taught me how to function as a member of a team and a community while playing doubles, but also out-hit and outwit my opponent while playing singles. The Danville Tennis Center has been a home away from home for me for many years. During my high school years, I've had a lot of anxiety, and coming to the tennis center to just take a lesson or play in drills or just play a match with one of my good friends or any other member has allowed me to relieve a lot of my built-up anxiety. Especially the anxiety I was dealing with during COVID. I appreciate the tennis center for helping to teach me how to be a respectful man and competitor, and I appreciate the board for allowing me to still provide my testimonial. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Brown. Thank you, Mr. Brown, young Mr. Brown.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? Thank you. We do not have any zoning petitions this evening. However, we do have the payrolls for you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I've written down the payroll dates and I'm
You want me to read them, Mayor?
yes, if you wouldn't mind, clerk, I
For the
apologize.
payrolls of April 22nd and April 29th, 2022.
Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Iverson,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. And I apologize, Madam Clerk. I'm not sure. I know that I wrote these down, but could you please read for us the dates for the next item as well?
Certainly. We have the special run from April 9th, 2022 and April 20th, 22, and the regular runs for April 20th, April 26th, April 28th, and May 3rd of 2022.
Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we will receive our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Streaming.
Oh, okay. Puts us 11A, the city's clerk's report. 11A1 is the approval of the license that you have in front of you. Is there any questions on the licenses? What's that? I'll need a motion to approve.
So moved.
How about a second?
Second.
Any questions? If not, have all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Puts us to 11B, ordinance amending the Danville City Code, subsection 31.31C, public petitions and communications. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. Need a second, please.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
I don't like it, but I'll vote for it because I don't think there's any alternative right now. I don't like the battering back and forth between somebody there and somebody sitting here. This is not an active time of debate when they're presenting stuff.
This would eliminate that. They would give them their entire 3 minutes to speak and then questions.
No, I'm not talking
afterwards.
about that. I'm talking about us debating them after they're talking.
Yeah.
I'm done voting.
Did you vote yes?
I did.
Orr,
Yes.
Streebing,
No.
Pickering,
No.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson.
Like Alderman O'Kane, I'm not comfortable with some of it, but I think we need to do something to have a guideline. So, yes.
Thank you. Brown,
No.
9 yes.
9 yes, the motion carries.
That puts us to 11C. Resolution authorizing changes in auditing service fees for FY 2021 and 2022. I make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. Need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Chairman Poor,
Yes.
Chairman Streebing,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
Yes.
Alderman Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
Carries. Puts us to 11D. Authorizing
The resolution authorizing a budget amendment to fiscal year 2022 through 2023 information technology. And the budget must be line number 020. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Chairman Streebing?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pickering?
Yes.
Alderman Byrd?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague? Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson? Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. 11E, we have a resolution authorizing the purchase of police vehicles and disposal of unused police vehicles. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Pickering?
Yes.
Alderman Byrd?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague? Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson? Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Puts us 11F, a resolution approving the memorandum of understanding between the city of Danville.
We need 11, Chairman.
Hmm?
11E.
11E. I
Oh, yeah,
thought we
yeah.
just done that.
Yeah. Purchase.
Okay, I apologize. I must have.
Purchase a police vehicle?
Yes, sir.
We just
Sorry.
just
Sorry
done
about
that one. Okay, 11F, the resolution approving the memorandum of understanding. You just want me to try to do that again, didn't you? Understand between the city of Danville and the Danville Police Commander Officers Association. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second.
Second.
Are there any questions on this?
I do believe there might be a typo error or needs to be added. Whereas it says more than 2, and I believe that should say 2 years.
That's correct, Mrs. Pickering. That's an Alderman Pickering. That's a typo.
What whereas is that? Which one down?
Where you at?
1, 2, 3?
Fifth one.
Fifth one down.
Fifth one?
We inadvertently left out the word years.
Okay. Does anybody have a problem with that? Any more questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Byrd?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague? Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Wilson? Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes. Thank you. The motion carries. Puts us items of information on G. I don't have any. Does anybody else have anything? Not? Thank you very much. That ends our report.
Thank you, Chairman Streebing. At this time, we'll receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. We will meet in these chambers next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Everyone's invited.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any items of information for the good of the cause? Alderman Williams.
Yeah, I would like to say that we're coming up on Mother's Day, celebration to all the mothers out there.
Thank you, Alderman. Absolutely. You will be disappointed to know that we do have a need of closed session this evening.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Are we going to do item 13?
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, where are you?
I tell you, it's been a long week and it's only Tuesday evening. I'm sorry, everyone. Yes, we are going to do 13. I'm sorry that I skipped around. Item 13, you will see an updated ARPA proposal categorized in both ways by the Treasury Final Rules category as well as the authorization type. The changes that you will see are twofold. First, you will see, as we've discussed previously, that we are in need of a ladder truck. So we have added that item under fire trucks. So instead of 800,000, it would be 2.2 million available to buy both a fire engine as well as a ladder truck for the city of Danville. And then the other thing that you will see added is lost revenue replacement to both the Convention and Visitors Bureau as well as the David S. Palmer Arena. Our comptroller calculated their receipts for the last several years. And then FY21 was the fiscal year of the primary load of the pandemic. During that time, they lost approximately $20,000 and $80,000 each. One of the things that you can do is help support entities that lost revenue as a part of this. Both of those entities play a huge role in our community in terms of events and providing quality entertainment for the people here, but also bringing people here, which brings more revenue, especially with the casino coming and other events, hopefully the development of the riverfront. We'll see them being more active. And so I would hate to see them continue to operate as a deficit. So what you'll see is that's $1.5 million total. And we reduced the line item bridge preservation and maintenance as a result of those changes. It's our belief that with all the Arpa funding out there, with all the other funding for the infrastructure bill that was passed by Congress, there are lots of opportunities that we're already seeing for bridge, roads, and other infrastructure. And so that's why it was our recommendation to transfer funds from there for the fire truck and then for the allocation of lost revenue from our partners at the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the David S. Palmer Arena.
Mayor, I want to say that I was all ready tonight to argue and fight and kick and scream and because when we first started thinking about this, I got one fire truck on the initial, and tonight when I seen the fire trucks and that, you blew me out of the water, and I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Chairman. Does anyone else have any comments, questions, or concerns?
I was just concerned, getting this tonight. Do we have to vote on this? in 2
No,
weeks?
we're not voting on it tonight.
No, I know that. I'm talking about on the next meeting. You had said to vote on this.
Yes.
We have, okay.
Even if we didn't vote on the entirety, Alderman Brown, I would hope that we could at least vote on the portions regarding the pool, because right now, as is, we're looking at an opening date of 2024, Memorial Day weekend of 2024, and any delay would possibly cause us to forego that season too. So because we have to get permits submitted to the state of Illinois and such.
Sure. For instance, Garfield Park and some things, could there be some modifications with the prints that we had, or we have to just strictly go with that, even though we vote on this? Just something within.
That's what we've given is a general blueprint. For example, we could change equipment or things like that, but more than anything else, we need approval on the overall concept of whether or not we support doing
that's my concern.
the park. The biggest thing, some things we have to, whether we do it through this or not, we've got to figure out the drainage for the park, because every time it rains, it floods and stays that way for a week or two. And then the kids and families can't use it. Any other?
Well, I think, we talked about this at great lengths, even looking at a different place, which would have thrown us another 3 or 4 years out. So this is the reason why we're doing it, what we're doing it.
Right, and I understand that. I just had some questions on, we were talking about some of the areas where there was just a lot of space and the grass and things. If maybe some areas could put playground equipment, things like that.
So you're saying more playground equipment than what the original proposal calls for?
Well, maybe just some. I just had some thoughts on it.
Absolutely. As always, we're happy to entertain those. One of the reasons that we kept space was in talking to the people that use the park, the sports teams and the boys and girls clubs. They need room for the cheerleaders to practice and for the football players to practice and such. So that's why one of the reasons why we tried to keep some open green space, but also just for free play. If kids want to play Frisbee or Red Rover, things like that way they have a space to do so.
Okay.
Alderman Pickering.
But this is something that when this comes up, we can change some of the plans. This is just the money allocated, but we can change some of the plans later on, correct?
We could change some of the plans for the park.
That's what I'm talking
the
about.
pool we have to submit to the state of Illinois.
Oh, I'm not talking about the pool. I'm talking about the park.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not talking
Absolutely.
about the pool.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Can I just?
Oh, I think Sam has something to say.
Yes.
Just gonna add to that. If you have comments, you or the public, I encourage you to reach out to myself, especially, and let me know those comments. Part of what I'm doing now is taking those comments, and if we get to go ahead on the project, we will be undertaking the design phase for the park improvements next. And I'll need that feedback to get with the consultant and say, this is what we want to build. Here's the comments that we had on this. How can we consider all these? So now is the time to do that.
Right.
Once we get into final design, that's, that ship is going out to sea. So get me your thoughts as soon as you can.
And I just want to say, I've had a number of phone calls, emails. I've had meetings with people who have come and talked to us. So the public has had many opportunities to participate, and they're absolutely still able to participate. So I just want to continue to encourage feedback. As you'll notice on here, if you look on the page, it has the ARPA proposed category by project type. Our comptroller has been keeping track of what the people of Danville have said that they want. And in terms, each one is a separate person. It's not, if someone has said the same thing 10 times, we haven't counted that 10 times. These are each individual, separate individuals. And of the 22 public comments that we've received in various forms, and I need to add some emails and such to this, just shy of half have said that they want more physical health, quality of life, and youth development improvements in our community. And that's one of the reasons why we've chose to focus on the things that we have with the updates at Garfield Park and the Danville Tennis Center.
I'd like to just make one other comment.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this, I'm speaking to my fellow councilman here. And we do have some new ones here. Just to stay encouraged, there were some public comments tonight that, to me, kind of like downgraded this council. I did not like those comments, and I want to say it publicly. I want to record it because I think we have a great council. I think we think things through. We ask questions. We bug some of the department heads, but we do what we have to do. And I'm just proud to be a part of this council. And for the new ones, I'm not discouraged. It makes me want to move on, fight on, whatever we have to do. But for the new ones, I want you to stay encouraged and let us be the council that we have been, and you are great.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Yes, Vice Mayor Iverson.
Alderman Brown is exactly right. People say we haven't had enough public input, people coming to meetings, and you've got numbers of what you've received. But all of us have received comments too,
Exactly.
and those don't get counted. People come to us, and they should. That's exactly what we want them to do. Come to us and talk about things. So we've all heard how people feel about certain things. So the few public meetings we had don't really indicate the amount of impact. But while we're on that, I want to thank you, Mayor, for the two things that the council members had expressed specific concern about: a fire truck, and then the Palmer Arena, I know is a thing of mine. So there were 2 fire trucks now. An additional fire truck, all of receiving. So they were included, and you found ways to adjust things and get them in. And I think that's exactly what and if we hear from people, there may yet be things that we like to switch around.
That's right.
Garfield pool, it's going to cost a lot of money, but maybe there's something we can defer. I don't know, but there has been a lot of public input, and I hope we'll see some more of it in the next couple of weeks.
Well, a lot of the discussion I got from even about the pool it was great. People didn't mind the 3 million, but when I went to the other price tag, it's kind of, what in the world are they doing? And then when you explain it to them, they understand a little bit. So
That's kind of what I've gotten too. It was okay then. Now it's like,
And if you go back, we were talking about it. We talked about bigger money being spent. So the only thing I can say is, thank God we got it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Alderman York.
Yeah, can you just refresh my memory on the youth activities? I'm drawing a blank on.
Yes, we had said that we a lot of our teenagers particularly have said that there's not anything for them to do on the nights and weekends here in town. And so we're putting together an RFP proposal for starting in 2020 for our nonprofits that have experience serving youth. They could submit proposals to us to provide additional services to the young people on the nights and weekends so that they have something to do. I want to eliminate any and every excuse for anyone to have make bad choices.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman York. Any other comments or questions or concerns? Yes, Vice Chairman O'Kane.
Well, I somewhat agree. I think the biggest problem that COVID is going to bring is to the youth of our future. And this will address the socialization and things for them to do and stuff. But I am a little disappointed that it's going to take an extra year to get the pool open. Very disappointed in that. If we could fast track that pool and worry about the rest of the park later, that would suit me, because, I was choking with 2 years.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, the timeline that we have is I would rather under promise and over deliver than vice versa. I think it's probably physically impossible, just because the permitting process for the state can take 6 months to up to a year. And so to get we have to submit all of our pool plans to the Illinois Department of Public Health. They're the regulator for any kind of public water facilities.
This company that you've hired has been in the business long enough that they can't push things through?
No one. Have you ever tried submitting anything to the state government, and how timely was that? I think we'll get the faster time because they have a good relationship with them, and that's why I think that we can predict safely that we can open Memorial Day 2024. Trust me, I don't like it either, but no one gets more calls or complaints about it than I do. But unfortunately, it's the reality that we're dealing with. And it has nothing to do with the park at all. That's a completely separate thing.
I was just going to add to that, Mayor. I think, the park is not the piece that we expect to delay this. The pool permitting is certainly a factor, and we do, their experience is pretty in depth. They've done many of these pool projects throughout the Midwest and a lot in Illinois. The biggest factor in the time frame really is, the supply chain issues that you guys all hear about. And as expensive as the project is, we feel very strongly that if we put an unrealistic time frame on the construction, it's going to drive costs through the roof. And likely we'll be making promises we can't keep anyway, because all it takes is one gutter system or one whatever to not come in, and, it's pushed back. So we've just had to adjust our expectations a lot over the last year and a half or so.
Vice Chairman, did you have any further comments?
Nope, but I'll be watching.
What do you say?
I'll be watching.
Thanks. I know you will. I can appreciate that. Any other comments on our ARPA proposal?
Mayor, on the pool,
Alderman.
for example,
Yes, sir.
I'm a little bit eye opener about naturally I realize the cost now is going to go up because of what we're what we're going through. But is there any way to do that pool in phases, or is it going to have to be completed naturally the way that it's being shown to us?
Sure. So there are certainly, and I must have dropped it on the way down or what, but I wrote up a summary of that along with the items that we were supposed to vote on this evening for payroll and payables, and I don't know, it disappeared. Anyway, there are some things that we could change, that we could get rid of, but adding things later is always going to cost you more. We added slides. That's $1.2 million. We could take them away. That would be money that could go somewhere else. Originally we had an improved bathhouse, just taking what we have now and improving it. I think that was maybe $400,000 or $500,000. We could save $1.6 million there, if we chose not to. But that's going to be, because you have to also pour the concrete for the decking with that, it's going to be harder to come back and do that later. So there's $2.8 million that we could save if we chose to do things later. But one of those projects would be very difficult to do later. And I also think that it takes away some of I think the slides, for example, will help draw not only more local residents, but people from out of town to be there. But we could, and if you all say that that's what we need to do, we will make adjustments. But I think that there's about that much that we could redirect if.
Just that one project's taken so much of the ARPA money that it just kind of mind boggles me a little bit. Are we going to be able to get everything else done on time?
I think that we will. Our contractors have been, the contractors in the community have been faithful to us. And I think that they also realize that when COVID money and other, all the money, extra money that's going through the community is gone, the city of Danville has been and will still be a reliable partner. So I expect that they'll be able to get things completed in a relatively timely manner for us. Vice Mayor.
You make a good point there. We talk about the COVID money, like our money is all that's out there. There are a lot of other COVID funding sources that are being used. Just this week, Vermilion Advantage listed 26 businesses that got money to help them out for the revenue they lost. And there's been also, we've had all sorts of things we've done with housing assistance for people, other things for businesses. So and I'm not saying we should all squirrel this away to something. There have been a lot of other COVID things, which I'm delighted to know. We're not the only game in town, but we should watch ours carefully.
Absolutely. I think that, between businesses and rental and between giving businesses replacement revenue through our CDBG grant, as well as individuals with rent and mortgage and car payment assistance, I think that we've provided over $1 million of assistance to the community already. Any other comments? All right, I apologize that I'm out of order. Now we will have the items of information for the good of the cause. Okay, seeing none. I do have this paperwork because our city clerk kept this on task. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss specific employees, under Section 2C2 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss salary schedules and collective bargaining matters, and under Section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss pending litigation. Is there a motion to concur?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague, Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
No.
Pickering.
Yes. Got you fired for it. Come on.
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. We will adjourn to closed session. There will be no action taken after the meeting. After the closed session.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Information that you need to know. But that's right.
Yeah, no, I'm.
I did not get it all. I'm gonna go with it.
I would entertain a motion to return to open session.
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Having satisfied the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have adjourned. Have a great night, everyone. Be safe.
We're gonna have a discussion on that.